BYJU'S exam prep brings to you the second All India Open Mock from the 9th to the 18th of September. Go ahead, register now on the BYJU'S exam prep app and compete against thousands of aspirants.
Good noon, all of you. I hope I'm clearly visible and audible to all of you. Hi, Varun. Good to see you. Right. I am Nikita and I welcome you to BYJU'S exam prep. And today we are going to continue with our RC toolkit. We've been talking about a number of things in these RC passages. When we talk about this toolkit of yours, we talk about RC passages, and we've so far discussed skimming, scanning, where to read from, what is speed reading, right? How to eliminate options, all of those things. Yes, like yesterday itself we talked about options in detail. So, hi Rahul. Same here, Varun. All right. So, before I begin, I have some announcements for you, right? So, I'm assuming that you're not preparing just for CAT, but for other MBA exams as well, especially NMAT. So, we have this last lab to NMAT for you, right? So, 19th September to 13th October, it's starting soon at 3 p.m. every day. We will come live with and we'll talk about one of your sections, right? Either VRC or QA or LRDI, right? So, do attend these sessions, they will be helpful for you. And yes, I hope I announced this yesterday as well. So I hope that made an impact and some of you have taken the mock. Yes, the All India Open Mock for CAT 2022. So it will be live only till 18th. So in case you haven't, please hurry up, make use of your weekend and you know all of these features that come with it. Right? Open to all. So I hope you'll take this soon. Okay. All right. Hi, Harika. Hello, Mohit. Hi, Sameer. Hi, Suman. Good to see you all on a Saturday. Yes. So, how is the preparation going? Before I give you a lot of tips, I want to hear from you how your prep is going, particularly RCs. How do you find RCs? Have you become more comfortable in them with time? Right? Have you found a solution to the challenges that you face in them? Right? Have you tried new things? Have you taken some mocks, evolved a strategy? So, anything that you would like to share, please do so in the chat box, right? I want to learn where your preparation stands currently. Hi, Satyam. It's better. That's good, Mohit. Okay, so I see that I think Mohit, you've asked some pertinent questions in the previous sessions also, which actually told me that you've been consistent with your prep. So good, keep it up. And if you have any queries, then of course these sessions are there. I'm there. No, Rahul. See, early, late. These are very relative terms. Okay, so it depends on where you stand currently. So my first suggestion to anyone who starts their prep is that you take a mock test, take a diagnostic test. We call it a diagnostic test. Basically, the first mock that you take, through which you analyze that. Okay, where do I currently stand? If in VARC currently I am getting out of 24, even if I'm getting 12 correct, that's actually a good level to begin with, right? So if you're getting 12 correct, fine. There may be a lot of inaccuracies there. Maybe let's say you've got 8 wrong. I get it. But if you are still getting 12 correct, that's actually a good level to begin with. So take a diagnostic test that will tell you where you stand, how much you need to improve, and what I have seen is that, see, a lot of aspirants, they become sincere and serious during this period only. So from September onwards, aspirants become serious. So in case, let's say you are already here and you prepare sincerely now, at least for VRC, I can assure you that you will reach 90 plus percentile easily. Okay. If currently your correct attempts are these, even if your incorrect attempts are here. Okay. So 90 plus percentile, even a 95 plus percentile, if you prepare sincerely, you can reach. Right? So early, late, these terms are relative. Don't worry about them. In fact, I was when I was preparing for this session, let's actually begin. I want to share something. So I was preparing for this session and I felt that, okay, how many RCs can a student realistically practice in these 70 days? Actually, the 70 days are left to CAT, right? So I felt that at least 4 RCs should be practiced every day. now I am not saying that this is for including everything, your mocks, your sectionals, your previous year papers, everything should come down to an average of 4 RCs, because ultimately in the exam you have to attempt 4 RCs, right? So in CAT, so that means if for these 70 days, if after combining your mocks, your previous year papers, your own practice, you practice about 280 RCs, that's actually a good number of RCs. See, ultimately you have to attempt 4 in the exam. For these 4, if you go prepared with approximately 300 RCs, that's a good level of preparation, and you have this kind of time right now. Okay, you have 70 days in hands, utilize them well. So my suggestion to you would be that be consistent when it comes to practicing RCs. Do not leave everything to, let's say, one weekend. I would not suggest that. Try if you can practice RCs every day. So 2 RCs at least every day. This is apart from, let's say, your mocks, sectionals. This is apart from your tests as such, right? You should practice 2 RCs every day. And when I take into account your previous year papers, your mocks, your sectionals, it will very comfortably come to an average of 4 RCs every day. Because in CAT itself, you have, see, in CAT itself, if I look at the papers that you have, 1991 to, I think you have 2006-7 available, right? Some years in between may not be there, but these are what you have. Then from 2017 to 2021, again you have it here. So that's a good number of papers. Then ZAT RCs are of a similar level. We discussed this yesterday, right? ZAT RCs are of a similar level. So you have a lot of material. On an average, if you're practicing 4 RCs every day, that means you're going prepared with 300 RCs for the 4 that you're ultimately going to attempt in the exam. So be consistent and always practice under a time constraint. That would be my suggestion to you. We are at a stage now where we cannot afford to leisurely read RCs and solve them. We should put a timer, right? Okay, so now I have a number of queries. Let's see. Just a second. I'm taking sectional wise RC mocks. Yes. That will be helpful, Varun. Okay, that's good. Sectionals are always helpful. Now, how many questions do we have to attempt in the exam? Kashish, if I talk about CAT in VARC, you have 24 questions in total. Okay, that has been the pattern. Now, out of these 24 questions, 16 questions are from RC passages. Okay, these 16 are divided across 4 RCs. So 4 RCs with 4 questions each. This is how it goes, right? I feel tired while solving RCs at night because I'm a working professional in a consulting firm. A good time to study English. So, Sumant, I'm assuming that the only times that you have available are morning and evening. So, why don't you try to practice them in the morning? You'll have to wake up a little early for that. So, try to change that schedule, because I understand, with a tired mind, when so much has happened during the day, when you solve RCs with that mind, concentration can be a problem, fatigue can be a problem. So, my suggestion would be, see if you can take out time in the morning, or otherwise, if you can manage some breaks in between, if that is possible during the day, then you can try them at that time. Okay, mornings would be ideal if you're able to wake up. Okay, and if you're able to wake up fresh, that is, build a schedule around it. Don't sleep late at night in that case. And because if that is the first thing that you do, no, there's nothing else that is there in your mind, and you're able to focus completely on RC passages. Then that's why, when you read things in the morning, they stay so fresh in your head throughout the day. At least this happens with me. That's why I choose my articles very carefully in the morning. I read positive things in the morning. So this is something that you can try. Okay. All right. I have increased my attempts from 15 to 18, 19, keeping in mind my accuracy. Great. That's really good, Mohit. So 18 to 19 with let's say if we are going for a 75-80% accuracy, that is good, right? Let's see if we can increase it further, right? I'm always a little greedy as far as the number of attempts are concerned, probably because VRC happens to be my strength. So let's see where we can go. Let's keep pushing ourselves. Okay, is it a decent score? So 10 30 and then some negatives also, Varun. There would be some negatives also. So, see, last year, if I talk about, I mean, if let's say you are targeting somewhere near a 99 percentile, see, 95 to 99.9, ये range था last year, 35 marks to 45 marks. At a 35, you got a 95 percentile. At a 45, it was 99.9. I think at a 42, 43, a student had 99. Yes, this was the case last year. So in that case, I think you should aim for 35 at least. Right now, this should be the aim to score a 35. Okay. So currently, we need to get more correct and less incorrect. We need to do that, Varun. Okay. Time constraint for one big RC. What is the time constraint? So see, if I talk about CAT, the RCs are of a standard length, usually 500 to 550 words. So there is probably not going to be an RC that is extremely lengthy, more than 800 words, or let's say something that's too short, approximately 200, 300 words. That hasn't happened in the past. So for this, 7.5 minutes for reading as well as attempting the questions. That is what I would recommend, because when you multiply this by 4, it comes to 30 minutes. I think 30 minutes is what you should devote to RCs, and then the remaining 20 minutes should go for these 8 questions. Okay, these 8 questions from VA. That would be my suggestion. Okay. Okay, focus. That means you're very focused. If you're in class 12, you should aim for the undergrad management exams like IPM. Okay, so search more about Integrated Program of Management. It's offered by a number of IIMs now. IIM Indore started it. Now Rohtak, Bodh Gaya, Jammu, etc. They are offering it. And more and more IIMs in the future are likely to open this. So go for that one, and you'll find that the syllabus is very similar to those of the MBA exams. It's a 5-year integrated thing. You come out having a BBA as well as an MBA. Okay. All right. Can I completely rely on VARC for CAT? No, one section you can't rely on. You need to be good. You need to be a stud at least at 2 sections. If you've attended Gautam sir sessions, that's what he says, that at 2 sections you need to be a stud then, in case one section is weak. Right? Okay. So practice is the key, and after practice comes analysis. So I am not talking about mock analysis here. I'm talking about analyzing an RC passage once you've attempted it. Resolve your incorrect RC questions. Okay. So do not simply look at the answer. In case you've seen that, okay, I mean, at least in mocks, you can do this. In sectionals, you first get to know, okay, this was incorrect. So whenever I see in a mock, in a sectional that, okay, this question of mine is incorrect, I first resolve it myself out of the, let's say, remaining 3 options, because I know which option I mark. So out of the remaining 3 options, then I try to figure out what can be the answer. This tells me whether I was close enough or not. Okay, did I think about this option, which is the correct answer or not? So resolve them. Don't straight away look at the answer itself wherever possible. At some places, I know it may not be possible. Wherever possible, resolve. The ones that you could not attempt in the given time constraint in a particular RC, the ones you could not figure out the answers to, solve them now. Okay, solve them now, decide on an option, and then see if it's correct or not. And very important, see what is the rationale behind the incorrect answer choices. Why are they incorrect? What makes them incorrect? In case you overlooked something, what did you overlook? In case you guessed a question and you got it right, but you were confused with another close option, now is the time to check why is that not the answer? Why was your fluke correct? Okay, so analyze your RC passage once you've attempted it. I think all of us subconsciously do it. I'm just codifying it for you that these are the things that you must do. Okay. All right. All right. So now RC analysis 2, point number 2. Did you spend undue time? So now comes the time part. We've focused on correct, incorrect. Did you spend undue time on a question? See, you may have got it correct after spending, let's say, 3 minutes on a question. You may have got it correct. Similarly, after spending, let's say, 2.5 minutes, you decided that, oh, I have spent so much time on this, 2.5 minutes. Okay, so I should attempt this. Then you got it incorrect. So basically, all the questions that you spent undue time on, whether you got them correct, whether you got them incorrect. If you got them correct, see what took you so long. Why were you confused here? What took you so long? If you got it incorrect, again, that means you shouldn't have chosen this question in the first place. So you should avoid such questions in VARC. Okay, in Quant DILR, you can see that is it a concept that I know, is it a concept that I don't know. In VARC, in case this is an old question type, let's say it was an inference question type. So it wasn't like the question type was a problem for you. The passage genre was also easy. That means this question itself was difficult. It was not owing to the question type. ऐसा नहीं आपको inference नहीं आता, ऐसा नहीं आपको passage नहीं समझ में आया था, ये question ही difficult था, इसलिए इतने time के बाद भी शायद आपसे गलत हो गया. So that's, you had to avoid such questions, right? So this again is very important to do, because there is a time, there's an opportunity cost here, right, involved. If you've spent 3 minutes here, you could have attempted one more question at least in this time frame, right? Was a certain passage too difficult? This is something that you do at the level of a passage. So अब मैंने question level analysis हो गया, time level analysis हो गया. This is a passage level analysis. Here you see, was this genre, or was the language too difficult for me? That is why, it sort of because of this my time management went haywire, right? So was the genre or the language too difficult for me? And if that is the case, then we have discussed how to address this. Read more and more stuff on this genre. Okay, read articles of such difficulty level. So this also has to be done. Okay, don't just get caught up in question level and time level analysis so much that you forget that a particular genre of yours is not very comfortable for you. Okay, rational means reasons. How many RCs are needed to be attempted? So Rowdy, see, 4 RCs come in the exam, right? If I talk about 2021, usually in various slots, 2 of these RCs were on the easier side. That means their 4 questions were doable. 2 of the other RCs were on the difficult side. Now here, students found that while they could attempt 2 questions comfortably, the other 2 were quite difficult. That is what students reported. So based on that, my suggestion would be to not leave an RC passage completely, unless you are targeting only, let's say, you're targeting you just want to clear the cutoffs as far as VRC is concerned, and your other 2 sections are your real strengths, you're really good at them, then yes, you can do that. You can skip one difficult RC in that case. Otherwise, I don't recommend it. I recommend that you read all the 4 RCs, right? Focus on reading the easier ones first. Then when you go to the difficult ones, you can be selective. And usually to the last RC that is there, the 4th RC, students are not able to do full justice to it, but that's okay as long as you're able to get 1 to 2 questions correct from this, right? You should get a positive score out of this because you've spent some time at least on this towards the end, right? So that would be my suggestion, okay, for CAT. Varun, this is a common problem. This is not something that's happening with you only. It happens with a lot of students. So actually with practice, you learn how to tackle these 2 close options. You learn to identify the traps that are there, that the examiner puts in these 2 close options, right? So now the key is that in the exam, sometimes it's our tendency to, reassure ourselves, to confirm, reconfirm. That is what takes so much time. So passage idea, you should form an idea of the passage when you are reading it so that there's no confusion later on. After analyzing the options, let's say you've realized that this option has something off. The other option, you're not able to identify any error as such. You are not able to see anything that's off there, any aberrations there. Then mark it. That means you have a 70-80% surety. Mark it and proceed. Don't get caught up in this trap of confirming, reconfirming, being 100% sure. That's actually a problem because of which students spend a lot of time on questions. Okay. All right. Now, 98 percentile in CAT 21 in both VRC and overall. Good marks in mocks. Okay. Able to understand the passage. All right. So this happened in 2021 in the mocks for you. Is it? 98 overall. Okay. 98 for VRC. That means, so were the RCs posing a challenge for you? Did you feel in the exam, Aditya, that the RCs posed a challenge, or was it the VA part that posed a challenge? We need to identify that. So it's possible that sometimes, students are good at RCs, but they completely ignore VA. That also happens, right? And in the mock, what I sense from your messages, that probably the time constraint is putting a pressure on you. That's possible. See if that is happening, that the time constraint is putting an unnecessary pressure on you, such that you're able to understand the RCs, but when it comes to attempting questions, you become unsure. Okay. Or sometimes in a hurry, you are in a hurry and you mark something just for the sake of marking it and proceed. So see if this is happening. Or are you calm, cool, you feel you've marked the correct answer, but then ultimately it comes out to be wrong. Is that happening? So I need to know these things. RCs or VA and time constraint, is it posing a problem? Okay. Then I can answer better. All right. Now, taking mocks is very, very important. See, just because in the exam you do not have to attempt just RC. So I was coming to this only. You have to attempt VA part as well. So take mocks, have a calendrical plan for taking mocks. Okay, set meetings with yourself. Every Sunday, think that every Sunday I have a meeting from, let's say, 2:30 to 4:30. That way you have to plan your mocks, right? Keep double the time to analyze these mocks. So if it's a 40-minute section, it will take you, a good analysis takes you 80 minutes. Okay, because you will resolve, you will solve the unattempted, you will go for a time analysis, you will see whether the passage's genre or language was difficult, and accordingly you will devise solutions for yourself. Right. So I think if you do this, this is a very focused strategy that I'm giving you. Practice, analyze RCs, take mocks, analyze mocks, and lastly, outside the RC passages, if you're able to read nothing like it, you should, in fact, in these final days, you should read as much as you can. Okay. So these would be my suggestions to you. All right. Now, 2023 batch, I'll just, Gagandeep, I'll inform just towards the end of the session. I'll show you that slide. Okay. Uh, and time constraint, that actually plays with your head. And sometimes what happens is we spend more time on some questions and compromise on the time for other questions. So try this in a mock, Aditya, that strictly tell yourselves, I am not going to give more than 7.5 minutes for this RC. For every RC, strictly tell yourself this. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं करना है spend. Okay. And once you tell this to yourself right from the beginning, not when, let's say, 7 minutes are over, right at the beginning, you yourself will realize that you're able to adjust your question solving to this time constraint. Okay, so try this in one mock. Okay, and very coolly, very calmly, once your 7.58 minutes are over, once, let's say, 6-7 minutes are over, no, look at the timer once, see how many questions you are left with. If, let's say, you're left with 2 questions still, okay, then see which is the easier of them, attempt it, and probably leave one and proceed, right? So learn to respect the timer that way right from the beginning, and see if that helps you to solve more number of questions. If it helps you to glance, sometimes students are not even able to glance at the complete section. Trust me, when you follow this, you're able to glance at the entire section, all the questions, right? So if you're able to solve more questions, if your accuracy also improves, in my opinion, it should improve when you stick to time right from the beginning. Okay. And lastly, yes, do not panic. The timer is not your enemy. It's there to help you. So I think if it's a time pressure problem, keeping a track of time right in the beginning, right from the beginning, will help. And if it is a solving problem also like this, you will learn to manage your time when you put your in your head right from the beginning. Right? Try this once. Okay. Now, I hope you've been enjoying the session. Yes, we've been dealing with some very nuanced queries of yours today. And these are some queries that I have got over the years from multiple students. And accordingly, again, see, I also had to devise solutions for these when I got these queries. So now I am able to pinpoint, okay, this must be a problem, this must be a problem. Right? So I hope these are these will prove helpful to you. You have to try them yet, right? And if you're enjoying the session, do press the like button. Do share it with your friends who are preparing for any MBA entrance exam. Okay. All right. Now, let's attempt this RC passage. And again, this is not a very difficult RC passage. And if you see, it's not very philosophical also. So how do I decide whether this is going to be the first RC that I attempt or not? I read some sentences. Okay. 174 incidents of piracy were reported to the International Maritime Bureau last year, with Somali pirates responsible for only 3. All right. Where does piracy begin and end? So this seems to be about piracy, yes? Main motive for piracy. So pretty straightforward. So I have decided that okay, I can attempt this. Topical in nature, language didn't seem very difficult. About piracy, it's not something that I find difficult. So this will become my first RC in the exam. That's how you decide. Okay. Uh, let's begin. Let's read. Read yourself. Once you reach the end of the slide, let me know. Done this one also. All right. Going to the next slide. Let me know once you complete this one. Freebooters. Yes. So, free boot. Two words involved here. So, somebody is getting something for free, right? That person will be a freebooter. Okay. So, if I talk about adventurers, who get things for free, how? By robbing people. They are freebooters. Okay. All right. Now moving to the next slide. Okay, this is it. So just 3 slides. I had put two paragraphs each on each slide. Okay, so this is your first question. A more eclectic history might have included the conquistadors. Conquest, it comes from conquest. So conquistadors, Vasco da Gama, and the East India Company. Okay, so people who set out not just for the aim of traveling, but also with conquest in mind, right? So like the East India Company. A more eclectic history might have included the conquistadors, Vasco da Gama and East India Company. But Leher sticks to the disorganized small fry. From this statement, we can infer that the author believes that. So tell me, what does the author believe? Yes. So this passage is from CAT 2020. Okay. Let's see what you say. What can we infer from this? Actually, you don't even need to go back to answer this question. The sentence, the statement gives us a hint. Okay, 4. Rahul, isn't 4 going a bit beyond that they laid the ground for modern piracy? Does the passage say it or imply it anywhere? Okay, 2, 4. All right. Eclectic means from varied sources. Eclectic means basically including varied sources, from varied sources. That's why we tell you to become eclectic readers. Okay. So, see this, a more eclectic history, a more inclusive in a way history, inclusive in the sense something that includes multiple sources, might have included even these conquistadors, these people who traveled to different countries with the purpose of conquest, who Vasco da Gama and East India Company. But what this person who is analyzed, this scholar, Leher, sticks to the disorganized small fry, the disorganized pirates. So, from this statement, we can infer that the author believes that 4 can be rejected because the author is not drawing this relationship that they laid the ground for modern piracy. No such relationship has been drawn here. Then the disorganized piracy of today is no match for the organized piracy of the past. We haven't really talked about the organized piracy of the past. We are talking about these conquistadors, Vasco da Gama and East India Company. We are not talking about organized piracy. So 2 is also eliminated. Between 1 and 3, yes, which one do you think is the answer? Mohit says 1. 1 is the answer here. Colonialism should be considered an organized form of piracy because we are comparing colonialists. We are comparing colonialists. We are talking about colonialists when talking about the history of piracy. That means the author believes this, that colonialism should be considered an organized form of piracy, and that is why it should be included in the history of piracy as per the author. So first is going to be the answer here and not 2, 3 and 4. Right? Laird does not assign adequate blame to empire builders for their past deeds. Too broad when I say for their past deeds. What deeds am I talking about? This is too broad. Okay. So Rahul is saying I didn't get the passage. See, let's do this experiment. Let's see how much of the passage we can understand by looking at the opening paragraph and by looking at the opening sentences. Right? This will serve as a lesson in skimming also. See this. 174 incidents of piracy were reported to the International Maritime Bureau last year, with Somali pirates responsible for only 3. So the passage is going to talk about piracy perhaps. The rest ranged from the discreet theft of coils of rope in the Yellow Sea to the notoriously ferocious Nigerian gunmen attacking and hijacking oil tankers in the Gulf of Guinea, as well as armed robbery off Singapore and the Venezuelan coast and kidnapping in the Sundarbans in the Bay of Bengal. So I'm just accounting for this, that these 174 incidents, where do they come from? Just 3 from Somali pirates who are pretty infamous. The rest actually come from notoriously ferocious Nigerian gunmen, then armed robbery off Singapore and the Venezuelan coast, and kidnapping in the Sundarbans in the Bay of Bengal. So this looks like a background passage. The author is just giving us some information to lay a background, to give a background of something. The argument will begin later on, perhaps. For Dr. Peter Lair, an expert on modern day piracy, the phenomenon's history should be a source of instruction rather than entertainment. So the phenomenon's piracy's history should actually teach us something. Piracy past offering lessons for piracy present. So piracy past should offer us lessons for piracy present. This is an important idea here. So I don't think the language is difficult. Okay, the language seems to be fairly of a newspaper level, if you ask me. But where does piracy begin or end? So that means throughout this paragraph, I'm probably going to find an answer to this question. What do you call piracy? Okay, where does it begin? Where does it begin? Where does it end? So then the author says, see, by this logic that the author gives, even the empire builders were pirates. Now, a more eclectic history might have included the conquistadors, but Leher sticks to the disorganized small fry, making comparisons with the renegades of today possible. Because Leher sticks to just the small pirates, disorganized small pirates, that is why we are able to make a comparison. Renegade is someone who is, let's say, left a cause and basically somebody who abandons a cause is called a renegade. So if let's say I was fighting for a particular party and then I abandon that cause, I'll be a renegade. I'll be sort of an outcast, right? So that is why this comparison is possible. Now the author believes that they should have been included. They should perhaps have been included. That means the author thinks that this colonialism, okay, these empires, they can be equated. They can be equated to piracy. So I hope you've now understood the answer of first one also in a very comprehensive manner. Yes? Okay. Then we talk about what is the main motive, a combination of need and greed. Then we say increased globalization has done more to encourage piracy than suppress it. Okay. Modern pirate prevention has failed. Okay. And we have not been able to control this issue, perhaps. Right. uh, we have uh, we have proposed solutions, but Lair has pointed out this will only make pirates switch their targets. If we go for robot shipping, eliminating hostages, etc., they will just switch their targets to smaller carriers unable to afford the technology. His advice isn't new. Okay, so probably somebody else has given this advice earlier. So pay attention to these opening sentences, and the language is not tough. The argument of the author is not tough. Okay, so I hope now you've understood why one is the answer here. Let's go to question 2. We can deduce that the author believes that piracy can be controlled in the long run. How can we deduce this? Yes. On what basis can I say this? Based on the passage. Let's see what you say. Waiting for responses. So a very specific discussion has happened for it towards the end of the passage. Okay. Rahul, 3. Should it be 3? I just read a particular sentence about robot shipping. Okay, let's see what the others say. So many of you in the session. I want to see more responses. Come on. Okay. Village log says 3. Subramanyam says 2. Okay. 4. Okay, I've got pretty much everything. Good, Subramanyam. Your answer is correct. 2 is the answer. Now let's see why. See, we'll go to our fourth paragraph for this. This is stated there that the root cause, the author talks about it, no? That the root cause, it quickly becomes clear that in those parts of the world that have not profited from globalization and modernization, and where abject poverty and the daily struggle for survival are still a reality, the root causes of piracy are still the same as they were a couple of 100 years ago. So basically, which areas in a way are I'm not saying that the other places are not plagued by poverty, but sorry, are not plagued by piracy, but piracy is primarily happening in these areas where there is abject poverty, where there is a daily struggle for survival. So these form the causes of piracy in such areas, right? Because these areas are not profited from globalization and modernization. So this is something that the author says. Now, the other solutions that have been tried, see, we are saying that we can try other solutions. So for instance, let's say have more patrolling, more warships, but there are never enough warships to patrol the pirate infested waters. Such ships are costly and only solve the problem temporarily, so you can't solve the problem through warships. Then secondly, robot shipping, if you go for that, eliminating hostages, these have also been proposed as solutions, but what happens? They also don't solve the problem. They make the pirates switch their targets to smaller carriers unable to afford the technology. So even this cannot be a solution. Then proposals to end illegal fishing are often advanced, but they are difficult to enforce. Investment in local investment in local welfare put a halt to Malaysian piracies in the 1970s, but was dependent on money somehow filtering through a corrupt bureaucracy to the poor on the periphery. So nothing else has actually succeeded. The other solutions that the author talks about, they haven't really succeeded. ओके, डिप्लोमेटिक इनिशिएटिव्स में म्यूचुअल डिस्ट्रस्ट है, लोकल वेलफेयर में करप्ट मनी आ रहा है, टेक्नोलॉजी हेल्प नहीं कर रही बिकॉज वो स्मॉलर कैरियर्स पे स्विच कर जा रहे हैं, वॉरशिप्स इतने हैं नहीं. सो यू सी that international cooperation in enforcing stringent deterrence, that is also stated in the passage, it has not worked. Extensive deployment of technology, robot shipping, that solution has not worked. Lucrative welfare schemes, they involved corrupt money. Diplomatic solutions, mutual distrust. So nothing else seems to be working. Therefore the author believes that if you address this root cause itself, poverty, income disparities, then probably we stand a chance. So this was a relatively deep question that way. It did involve your analyzing this, that the other solutions that have been suggested, they are not working. So through elimination, you could have done this. Right? Hope this makes sense. If not, ask me. All right. Why toil away as a starving peasant in the 16th century when a successful pirate made up to 4,000 pounds on each raid? In this sentence, the author's tone, you have to gauge the tone of the author, can best be described as being, okay, you need to know the meanings of these words. Facetious. Facetious means when you are being jocular, when you're joking, when you're being humorous, but in a sort of a disrespectful manner. Irreverent, disrespectful manner. Ironic. Ironic is when you highlight a strange, stark contrast, right? In speaking, irony is usually used in sarcasm. When you don't say what you mean, but you mean the opposite of it, right? So ironic about the reasons why so many took to piracy in medieval times. So is the author being ironic here? Is the author highlighting some difference between expectation and reality? Then the author will be ironic. If the author highlights some sort of a difference between expectation and reality. Analytical, we understand when we delve deep into something. Indignant. Indignant is when you feel angry because of some humiliation, right? Angry because of some injustice, some sort of a humiliation. That is indignant. So now that you know the meanings of these, tell me, what is the author's tone? I've got some responses already. Two. Okay. Most of you say that. Ironic. All right. What else? So, reading the entire option actually helps here. Okay. Don't just read the words. You are right. The answer is two. Okay. Good. So, that three of you were able to gauge this. First one says facetious. The author is not joking about this. The author is not joking about the hardships of peasant life in medieval England. No, the author is not at all making fun of that. Analytical to explain the contrast between peasant and pirate life in medieval England. So, while the author is sort of giving us an idea of how peasants starved in the 16th century, his tone in this particular sentence is not analytical. Okay, it's the sort of tone that is used to grab your attention. Why do this when you can do this, right? So it's not just analytical. Maybe the author in the larger paragraph is analyzing that, but here that's not the tone. Between ironic and indignant. Between ironic and indignant. Does the author appear angry here to you? Boy toil away as a starving peasant. The author does not appear angry. Okay. Also, it's not, the author is making a comparison here. The comparison is between peasants and pirates. And he's not angry at their wealth as such. Even throughout that paragraph, also, if I go back to this paragraph, you'll not get this sense. So, ironic, yes, about the reason. This stark contrast is being highlighted between peasant life and between pirate life. That you would, ideally, you would not expect people to take up piracy. But why were they taking up piracy? Because their peasant life was such a starving life, right? So the author is explaining the reasons why so many took to piracy in medieval times. Okay, two is the answer here. Where should I start preparing? What should be your starting point? Okay. See, if you've enrolled somewhere, then you have a lot of practice material. So you have level 1 practice material, level 2 easy passages, moderate, difficult passages. So that automatically is taken care of there. Right? If you haven't enrolled, in that case, uh, your sources are your previous year papers and the official guides, etc., that are available. Right? So out of those previous year papers, no, my suggestion to you would be, Acha, I hope you know the base. I'm assuming that you know the basic concepts such as what is an inference question, how to answer it. Those basics, I'm assuming they're clear to you home because you have taken MA and CET also, right? So, in these previous year papers, now what you can do is open. So, for instance, let's say you picked up a CAT 2017 paper, slot 1. Just Google CAT's 2017 slot 1 analysis. On the BYJU'S exam prep website also this analysis is available, right? So in this analysis, you will see which all RCs were relatively easier, whose LOD was relatively easy, whose was moderate, whose was difficult. So because you're starting, go for the easy passages first. That way you can actually decide the level of difficulty of each passage and go for the easier ones first when you are starting. Then you can go to the moderate, then you can go to the difficult. So that LOD aspect can be taken care of by Googling the analysis of various slots of various previous year papers, right? And this is assuming that your basic concepts are clear. What is an inference question? What is a main idea question? How to attempt a direct question, right? Those things are clear. Okay, hope this helps. Now, this one is clear. Question 3. Can I go to question 4? Okay. The author ascribes means attributes, assigns. The author ascribes the rise in piracy today to all of the following factors except. So the author, this is a direct question and it's an easy question. There are reasons for piracy that have been given. Okay, reasons for the rise of piracy today that have been given in the passage. Which one is not given? Tell me. Direct question. So, see, in the exam, in case you forget what you read, okay, in case you are not sure what the answer is for a direct question also, it's okay to go back, right? So, if I go back, there was this sentence, yes. Increased globalization has done more to encourage piracy than suppress it. We read this earlier also, so I remembered this. European colonialism weakened delicate balances of power, leading to an influx of opportunists on the high seas. So this is how these opportunists, these pirates, actually came to the high seas. European colonialism weakened delicate balances of power. Globalization has also increased the problem. A rise in global shipping is also happened. This also means rich pickings for freebooters. Freebooters are these adventurers, these pirates who are stealing. So, rise in global shipping, European colonialism weakening delicate ties, increased globalization, all three have been given as the reason. So, what has not been given as the reason? Let's see. Absolutely correct. 4 is the answer, right? 4 is the answer. Rich pickings and European colonialism, growth in international shipping, all because of globalization, all these three have been given to us. This has not been given. So basically, this is the answer. That's what I mean to say. Good. So see, some questions are going to be outrightly direct. So this is the kind of question that you should never ever leave in the exam. Direct. Okay. Then here, out of these, I think this one also, because the other three had failed. This was clearly given in the passage. This could be done easily. So question 2 should definitely have been attempted. Then in 1 also, there were extreme things that had been stated in option 4, that it laid the ground, or it is no match for organized piracy, where the author has not discussed organized piracy. This was too broad. So through elimination, even 1 could be done. Right? So all in all, this was not a very difficult passage. This came in CAT 2020 slot 1. So I hope you will practice RCs every day from now on. Okay, you know the sources also now. You will analyze those RCs and you will take mocks very, very regularly. You have an All India mock open, so I don't need to restate that. You can take advantage of that. Ultimately, in face of the timer, keep calm, because that's the problem that you will, it's an advanced problem. So, when you have started solving the RCs, you have gained accuracy also. But when you sit for a mock, this sometimes happens that the time pressure operates. The only solution to that is keeping a track of time, a healthy time management right from the beginning, and staying calm in the event of any surprises, any glitches. Right? So keep up with your prep, and I am always here to help you. In case you found the session valuable, please like it. This is the CAT 2023 program, right? I will get back to you on when the classes, I think we've launched this. Okay, we've launched this. The classes have not begun yet. I'll get back to you from which date we are beginning classes. And yes, so a lot of things available in 2023. You can see for yourself. And this is how we can stay connected. This is our Telegram channel for any doubts that you have. Okay, welcome, welcome. Thank you, Varun, and welcome all of you. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you on Tuesday now at 12 p.m. Okay? All right. Bye bye.